I absolutely love seeing people's reaction and reception and their thoughts and their ideas towards something. So when I seen a lot of people freaking out over the finale of Vinland Saga's anime, it was quite a wholesome experience. Seeing how people thought about the conclusion and where the story was going to and how many people were so excited about it was phenomenal. And how the anime pushed them to go buy the manga because they just couldn't hold themselves. They couldn't wait for a potential season 2, which is most likely in the works. Vinland Saga had an incredible anime last year, and for me, I'm still extremely new to the franchise. It's been on my list for the longest of times. People have told me to read it, but they've never really given that backbone to read it. I feel like you know what I'm talking about, how people will go through an entirety of different links to push you to read something telling you this character, this event, this emotion, this consequence, this story. Whereas I found the Vinland Saga community and the people telling me to read it at least were very simple about it. They just said that it is a phenomenal experience and it's considered up there with some of the greats like Berserk and Kingdom, two series which I absolutely adore. It took me quite a long time to get into Vinland Saga, but when the anime released, the first 3 episodes was enough to finally push me into it, and I started to read the manga and flew through it pretty much. I think it's a story that if you're engaged with and you find it really enjoyable, you will absolutely fly through it and you will not want to put it down. It's an incredible experience from start to where it is currently 165 odd chapters later. The final episode of Vinland Saga teased the next arc. For those of you who do not know what the arc is called, it's known as the Farmland arc. And there's a lot of things that are extremely important about this arc. How it completely changes your perception of certain characters, certain narratives, certain events and situations, and most importantly, the emotional connection between characters and towards the world. The writing changes drastically. In some ways, the Farmland arc is the start of the actual story, and you could count that everything that the anime showed within its first season was pretty much the backbone to all of it. The important details and character setups and relationships that lead into the Farmland arc. Because everything changes, and it changes in such a way that I don't think people are necessarily ready for whether you're reading it or potentially watching it in the future. It's something that completely catches you off guard. It almost feels like a whole new story, but you have that previous experience, that previous connection and emotion with all of the backstory of Thorfinn and Asklad and Thors and all of these other characters that lead directly into it, and everything shifts and evolves into something extremely beautiful. Tragic, but impactful. I think among the manga readers, the Farmland arc is considered the best of Vinland Saga. The Baltic Sea was arguably probably one of the weakest, but you'll notice between the arcs, a lot of the structure and the writing and even the characters change quite exponentially. They go through a lot of experiences. They learn and evolve and change, and creates definitely some interesting and new experiences throughout the story. And I think that's why a lot of people weren't really satisfied with the Baltic Sea War arc, because as much as it had its weight and its impact for Thorfinn and a lot of these other characters, and how we've seen these semi-politics of war come into play and how fickle it can be, it's a new experience compared to the previous fighting, the previous struggle, the previous tragedy, and there's a lot of change that obviously takes place. Just like the new arc that's taking place at the moment, which is considered the final arc of the story, which has been announced that it's coming to its conclusion, but give it a couple of years. This newest arc is going to be completely different to the Baltic Sea War, to the Farmland arc, to the beginning of the story. Sometimes it can be very off-putting to read a story like that, but it feels extremely natural. And if you try not to compare the arcs together all too much, you'll find yourself enjoying these new experiences rather heavily. The point of this is to showcase, hopefully, my excitement towards Vinland Saga Season 2, and how if they do animate the Farmland arc, which I'm pretty sure they most likely will, considering they teased a nice little snippet of it at the end of the season, I think people's reception towards Vinland Saga, I think its name will massively grow. Right now, Vinland Saga is very well respected within the community. It's very well appreciated in terms of a manga, and even the anime has shown that this series is something to be noticed. This series is something that people should be paying attention to, and if you aren't paying attention, you're missing out on something absolutely incredible. With how Season 1 went about things, even though they might have had some low points or some different filler options that people may or may not have been happy with, the overall reception for the first season was rather good. A lot of people that I seen watched it or checked it out that may not have even been interested in Vinland Saga to begin with found the series to be absolutely enjoyable, and even though it has such a high respect within its own community, putting it up there with some of the greatest series of all time, it's relatively low key compared to a lot of the other stuff that got featured this year. It's not to disrespect Vinland Saga or disrespect these other series, but when you have a lot of phenomenal series and a lot of high impactful series making its way throughout the community and everyone showing love absolutely everywhere, Vinland Saga didn't necessarily have those insanely massive high points as frequently as some of these other series. However, I seen a lot of people so happy with how Vinland Saga went with its first season that they went ahead and started to binge read the manga. And that is an incredible reaction, because Vinland Saga only gets better from here. And if season 2 takes all of its knowledge and all of its experience from the first season and doubles down on it in season 2, I can pretty comfortably guarantee that it is going to be one of the most impactful and massive animes of whatever year it releases in. Whether it's 2020 or 2021, whenever season 2 of Vinland Saga comes out, everyone will see what the story is capable of. Everyone will see why people talk about the Farmland arc so often, why it's considered one of the greatest arcs within manga, and for good reason. I am extremely excited to see how they approach it. They have a gold mine on their hands, and with Attack on Titan coming into its conclusion in both the manga format and the final anime releasing this year, it would be really nice to have another monthly series that's been going on for longer than Attack on Titan has been around finally start to get the reception that it truly deserves. It may not ever hit the grand scale that Attack on Titan has, but I do think a smaller reception of somewhat equal value will take place because of season 2. The Farmland arc is an incredible arc through and through. The journey, the experience, the evolution. I'm thinking of all of the incredible artwork and directing decisions that they could make for some of these very impactful panels and moments. I have an extremely high amount of faith that the Farmland arc in an anime format will change absolutely everything, will change Vinland Saga's popularity, its reception towards it, and absolutely blow it up into the stratosphere to where it truly deserves to be. Vinland Saga is an incredible manga, it's an incredible experience. Its first season was incredible, but has only touched the tip of the iceberg. I would absolutely love to see everyone's reaction to it when the Farmland arc comes around, because I guarantee everyone will be talking about it, and it deserves to be talked about to such an extent. For me, Vinland Saga season 2 couldn't come any quicker. Such a highly valued and respected arc potentially getting animated is almost like a dream come true for a lot of people, and it will definitely get the reaction that it deserves, the response that it deserves, and it will bring a whole slew of new people to check out Vinland Saga and just raise that bar exponentially. If you haven't watched Vinland Saga, or if you haven't read it, I would highly recommend you do. I don't necessarily want to draw comparisons on what the series is like or this or that, but go look at some of the volume covers, maybe go try and read the first couple of chapters and see if it's up your alley, and if it is, stick with it. If you're into extremely well written stories surrounding a very harsh world with Vikings and a character that shares a lot of similarities with not only Karnaki but Eren Yeager, even Guts from Berserk, then most definitely you should check it out and enjoy it, because when season 2 comes around, everyone's going to be talking about it, and I can't be more happy for it. Hopefully that comes true, and we see Vinland Saga enter a whole new realm of success with what it truly deserves. The Farmland arc definitely has the potential to take Vinland Saga above and beyond, and with a season 2 potentially in the pipeline, it's only a matter of time before people truly get to witness the glory that is the Farmland arc. It's only a matter of time before people get to witness the development of Thorfinn as a character, how he reevaluates his past experiences and what he becomes, what he challenges himself to be, what he turns into, a completely new character that faces previous trials and tribulations to hopefully find a better future. It's a very raw storytelling experience that focuses heavily on one's mental state, the destruction of it, but also the rebuilding of it, the acceptance of it, and how post-traumatic stress disorder can influence this in so many different ways that is unimaginable, that tortures the mind and the soul till the end of time, throughout your being, how it can control you and make you relive those moments of tragedy, of sorrow, of hardships, till the day you die. I see the Farmland arc being something incredible for not only manga readers but for anime only watchers. Season 1 didn't really have a massive reception that I thought it would, but undoubtedly Season 2 will change that, and hopefully it will blow up in popularity and people can finally witness the journey of Thorfinn and the story of Vinland Saga. So with that being said, that is actually it. I hope you all enjoyed. Let me know how you feel about Vinland Saga, whether you've watched the anime or if you've been reading the manga for quite a bit of time. I'd love to hear your thoughts, but I'm actually going to end the video here. I hope you all enjoyed and I will see you in the next one. Goodbye.